your Vikings lost to the Rams, and Matthew Stafford and Puka Nakua and Cooper Kupp are all in the field together, and they look like a completely different team when those three guys are all together. And, of course, you might have lost one of your offensive linemen, Darisaw, last night. Got injured, so hopefully that's not bad. So, anyway, at the end of the day, we have to do a show today. We have to try to be happy. I'm not happy with the performance last night from the Rangers at all. Although Igor was unbelievable. This should have been like 10-1 last night. And they have the kryptonite against our power play. But that's for another day. It is about the Yankees. And I got the Yankees in 7. I'm sorry. You know, I've been.
You don't need to apologize.
I know that there are Met fans out there that probably hate that fact that I just said that. But, you know, Met fans, let's get over it. We had a great season. David Stern's got to reconfigure this whole team, and he'll get it right. And I look forward to the offseason, the hot stove league, if you will, when it comes to the Mets. But for the Yankees, I mean, look, this is a team that's loaded with stars. They had a down summer, if you will, maybe a little bit of a lull, and everybody was screaming and yelling about them. But they have Juan Soto, and Juan Soto is on a mission. And if you listen to anything that he has said over the past week, you know that this guy wants to leave an imprint on yet another World Series, and he wants to do it in a spectacular way so that when he does sign his assumed to be $600 million contract, he'll have turned down other contracts that will make it all worthwhile for him. And there's nothing more incentivizing for a player than a matchup of this magnitude. Let's face it, this is the 12th time these two teams have met for the World Series. This is the two most popular teams in our country in this particular sport. These are two teams that people that when they visit our country and they come here, they want to go to their respective stadiums to see those players. You have the biggest stars in the world playing in Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and of course Shohei Ohtani, and we're going to see Yamamoto in Game 2 for the Dodgers on the mound. We got Garrett Cole going for the Yankees tonight. I mean, this it doesn't get much better than this, and for a week leading up to it, we haven't really spoken about it much just because there's so many other things going on. But I got to tell you, I think the Yankees are going to do it. I really do. I honestly believe that the cakewalk that they got through to get here really didn't take that much out of them.
Yeah, it didn't, and I don't know how much the Dodgers had taken out of them as well. They did win the series in 6. I know the Yankees won theirs in 5, but
yeah, but they had to play the Padres and the Mets, and those are scrappy teams.
I understand, but I mean, they still had almost as much time off as the Yankees did. So we'll see how that affects them. By the way, can't forget it is 8 a.m. this morning. 8 a.m. we are giving away Game 3 World Series tickets at the stadium. So
sorry, that's 9 a.m. My bad.
Okay.
I just saw.
Al wrote 8 a.m., so now it's 9 a.m.
Well, 8 a.m. we could give the clue.
Oh, all right. So 8 a.m. we're giving the clue. 9 a.m. we're giving away the tickets. So you got to be listening in the 8 a.m. and the 9 a.m. hour. And you cannot resell these tickets. They have been flagged. That's part of the deal. It's part of the contest rules. So
they're flagged.
They are flagged, digitally flagged. So you cannot resell them. So yes, anyway.
So we have a digital police on this?
We do have digital police on this, and we'll be doing it all day long here on WFAN. BT and Sal will have some tickets. Evan and Tiku will have tickets. So it's the hottest ticket in town, and we have some for you. So stay tuned for that all morning long. So, both these teams have similar offenses in the fact that you got two major stars and a lot of hitters that could be a pain in the ass. I do think, though, that the Dodgers have more hitters that are a pain in the ass, and I think that their lineup is longer. However, you can make a case that the Yankees starting pitching, if it works out the way that it should with the money that these guys are making, and Carlos Rodon has another good start, and Garrett Cole, the reason he's here is because of this series. This is why I got all that money, that the Yankees should have an advantage there.
I would say this is going to be an offensive series. It's not going to be a defensive series. It's going to be an offensive series. Too many good hitters, too many disciplined hitters, especially like the Yankees have been disciplined through the playoffs. That's the key thing. And that was the thing that we saw with the Mets and the Dodgers. The Mets kept walking the Dodgers. Pitchers got to throw strikes, man. And, they got to get a couple chase strikes here and there. But look, if you're going to put guys on base and you're going to be afraid to pitch to people, then that's the ending. And we'll see that. Listen, you have Garrett Cole going tonight. He is supposed to be the best pitcher in baseball. He's paid to be the best pitcher in baseball.
Won the Cy Young last year.
There's one reason why he is here.
This is it.
Here for this.
Right.
All right. So I would say that is clearly the advantage. He is an advantage for the Yankees. Other than that, I think everything else is kind of a wash. Although I would say the Dodgers have a little bit better bullpen on the back end. I'm still not so sure.
There's just more guys that are effective,
They got arms everywhere.
I mean, and that's the way they're going to play, and that's really, Dave Roberts and figuring out those matchups and who's going to pitch to who, and that's really going to be the series for the Dodgers. They're going to score runs. We know they're going to score runs.
So are the Yankees.
Right. But I'm not as sure that the Yankees are a lock for scoring runs like the Dodgers are a lock for scoring runs, and that's why I lean to the Dodgers. And there's, of course, an X factor in this thing, and that is, does Aaron Judge look like the MVP that he is, or does Aaron Judge look pedestrian?
Of course. So, Al, cool games. These are cool games.
Yeah, these are definitely cool games.
Cool games. I don't know what you did with the football. We'll get to that in a little bit. But in regard to, you can't wait for this game tonight.
Yeah, Jerry and I both called this cool games
you
for
did?
sure.
Okay, great. That's awesome. Can you do me a favor and find out the highest scoring World Series in history with combined runs? I don't know what that is. That could be like a little bit of a homework assignment for you, little investigation.
Yeah, it probably won't take that long.
I mean, I believe it's going to go 7 games. I hope it's amazing. I hope that all the players live up to the expectations. I think the pitchers are going to be tortured in this series. I really do. I mean, there's great pitching on the Dodgers in the back end of that bullpen, but the Yankees just ripped through both Kansas City and Cleveland's bullpens, and they were supposed to be great.
Well, yeah, and that's a huge factor, and there's no doubt about it. You cannot ignore that. So the Cleveland Guardians throughout the year, and of course, Clase had this unbelievable, all-time historic regular season, and the Yankees just smacked him around like he was just some tomato can. So, yeah, the Dodgers have a ton of arms, and yeah, the Dodgers have a bullpen that is stacked, but the Yankees have proven that really doesn't matter to them, at least so far up until the postseason. But it's just the relentless nature of this Dodgers lineup that we saw. And yeah, there was a half and half story about that Mets series about walking guys. On one hand, yeah, you felt like, man, just throw strikes. But with Edwin Diaz, you felt like when he was walking guys, he should just be that was his fault. But when it was Quintana and Minaya and those guys,
they were afraid to pitch to those guys.
No. See, I disagree. What it was is the fact, the discipline of the Dodgers, where those guys need guys to chase. Like the ball looks a certain way, and then throughout the regular season, they're getting guys flailing. But the Dodgers are so disciplined and so good, and the stats show that their chase rate is the best in baseball. That they were it was impossible.
Right,
it was just a bad matchup for those guys.
So how many times did the Mets leave men on base?
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, it was a ton.
How many RISP situations were there?
There was a lot. We talked about it.
Where the Yankees have got to basically do what the Mets didn't do, and that is they're going to get guys on base. I mean, the Mets had guys on base the whole time.
They did.
They just couldn't score.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think this is going to be it's going to be an offensive series. If it's not, and I'm wrong, then so be it. But I just think there's too much offensive firepower on all the teams. And really, when I think about the Yankees, I think about one player in particular that has kind of changed the thought process around him. I'm not using the word narrative. I hate that word. I can't stand it anymore, so I'm not using it. So I'm going to say thought process around the guy.
Okay.
And that is Gleyber Torres.
Sure.
Because we've all seen Gleyber's ups and downs. But in this playoff run for them, he has been so key for them and has allowed Juan Soto to do what Juan Soto does. He's passing the baton, and he's being disciplined, and he's actually hustling. So the thought process around Juan Gleyber Torres has changed significantly, and now he's become, remember how they called Daniel Murphy a net negative?
Mm-hmm.
This is a net positive now.
With Gleyber Torres.
Yes. Would you not say that he's a net positive?
So far in the postseason, it's an impossible point to argue.
You want to be beloved, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep setting the table. So that's what a guy who sets the table does.
He's a table setter. Yeah, no, I'm with you, and his future is going to be an interesting discussion in the offseason, and it was almost like it was a lock he wasn't going to be around, but now that the way he's played, he has changed that thought process. But yeah, I mean, there's the Garrett Cole games in this series are so critical for the Yankees. Now, Garrett Cole had a long layoff after the regular season, and he came out in game 1 against the Royals and was bad.
Well, he needed a layoff. You know, he's got the whole arm thing. I was thinking
The whole arm thing?
Well, like, you know, he missed all that time and everything, so he never really got into any sort of rhythm. I think there were about 4 or 5 starts he had there towards the end of the season where he looked like the old Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what you live for. This is what he lives. Think about this. Let me put it in this perspective. I think that they think he's got to get 18 outs.
I think that they think he needs to get 18 outs. So you think that the Yankees need 18 outs from Garrett Cole?
6
tonight?
innings. 6 innings, 2-run ball, call it a night.
I mean, in 6 innings.
Is it that hard to do?
Six innings these days, especially in the postseason with the way that these managers deploy the bullpens. 6 innings is essentially like a complete game these days.
Well, what I want is I want him to live up to his reputation, do what he did last year when he won the Cy Young, and do it now in the most important situation. And the one thing I don't want to see is a Game 7 where he's sitting out in the bullpen and he doesn't get in.
Yeah, like he did with the Houston Astros.
He
and then
was very mad.
Yeah, he can't remember in that press conference he wasn't wearing an Astros hat. He was wearing a Scott Boras hat. At that point, I knew he was not going back there. I knew for a fact he was not going to be re-signing with that team. So
I just hope that Juan Soto doesn't do that.
Yeah,
What do you mean? What does that mean?
it means that Juan Soto and every Yankee fan that hopes that the ghosts of Monument Park and wearing the pinstripes and this and that means something to Juan Soto. If the Yankees don't have the highest offer, none of that means a thing to Juan Soto. So, but that's for another day.
Okay, hey, Al.
Another day. He's a Yankee right now.
How'd that research come?
It didn't come right up, so I'm going to have to get to it after I finish this little commercial gimmick thing here.
Okay.
But I will effort that. But it's really just coming up which team scored the most runs in a game.
No, I don't want that. I
Right.
want total
So
runs scored in a World Series. I just want to see if the Yankees and Dodgers can actually eclipse that.
Well, if someone did it, it's eclipsable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just one more run.
It is true. Very easy to eclipse something.
Yeah, but
when you have an opportunity
I'd like
to
to
do
be
it.
able to see how many runs it was and then make a declarative statement that, yes, they will eclipse it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
We'll help you out.
Yeah, well, I want them to do something.
Your internet not working over there on your computer this
Well,
morning?
he is the producer,
I understand.
and he's a research maven.
Not
you know
really.
that. Well, no, he
Not
is.
really.
Well, when I listen to him do his warm-up show and his post-game podcast, he's got all this information about this useless nonsense. I just want him. I want him to come up with some research answers for what we do here as a foundation of this radio station and this radio program.
Okay.
Is that too much to ask?
It may be.
Or maybe Joe on Twitter will get it.
Yeah, right,
in
exactly.
time.
Joey from Yonkers, who really is the guy who is working for us more than anybody else, and he's
All right,
not
Joey,
getting paid.
get it done.
I don't know. I don't know if he's awake this morning.
What do you mean? Is that awake?
He is awake.
It's-
Yeah, he was hitting me up during the warm-up
Okay,
show.
all right.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And by the way, it's the Yankee World Series Friday. What are we doing?
No, he's a big Mets fan, so I usually hear from him like before the show most days. So I hadn't heard from him today, so I didn't
here's
know if
the
he was
deal.
up yet.
Here's the deal. If you're a Mets fan, I'm not going to be screaming Mets fans for Yankees. I'm not going to do that because I'm not saying that. But if you're a Mets fan, you're a baseball fan. And, let's face it, we lost the National League Championship Series, but that doesn't mean we can't invest ourselves into this World Series, which I think is going to be epic.
Yeah, and I think most people feel the same way. I didn't watch a lick of last year's World Series, wasn't interested at all. This year, obviously, we'll be watching every single pitch. And for, to have the two best players in the game who have never been in a World
three.
Series before. Well, yeah, but I mean, it's really Ohtani Judge. Ohtani Judge. I mean, we've had these discussions.
Judge and Soto. Soto's going to be paid more than Judge.
Yeah, I know, I understand, but it's really these guys back and forth with MVP discussions and
Garrett
everything
Cole,
else.
Cy Young Award winner.
All right, yes, I understand all those guys are there, but Ohtani and Judge, who have not been in a World Series. Soto has been in a World Series. Garrett Cole has been in a World Series. So if you just let me finish the point, then I would have gotten to that. So yes, Ohtani and Judge, who have never been in a World Series, the two of the biggest names in baseball, on the center stage for Fox. I mean, this is it. This is it, man. This is as good as it goddamn gets, even if your team's not in it. You right?
You done?
Yeah, actually, I am. Generally, you don't wait until I'm done, so it's nice that you did.
I did
This morning. Yeah, you
just-
did.
all
Okay.
right, I'm going to give you a lot of space this morning.
Will you?
Oh yeah, I promise.
I got a feeling that you're going to say that and not follow through.
Why do you think that?
Well, because I'm just, it's experience.
I'm so annoyed from last night's hockey game that I can't even see straight right now. So I am doing everything I can to take my
chill
mind
out.
off of that.
Stupid regular season game. Get over it.
Not a stupid regular
Yes,
season
it is.
game.
Get
You're
over it.
acting like they.
Get over it.
You're like, and they showed up and they threw up
They'll
61
be
threes.
fine. Stop.
I'm not saying they won't be fine, but I'm just saying, like, I
It's a
expected a better effort.
feel-good Friday. It's the World Series. Put it in your back pocket. Stop. Come on.
I did.
All right.